What's up, y'all?
Happy Monday, family.
How we doing, guys?
How's
Happy
everybody
Monday.
doing?
You fellas, good to see you fellas. A rare Uncle Flip's hiatus last week, but now back. Good to see you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you guys are on the replay, typically all four of us are live every Monday at 5 Eastern. So come pop in, set a reminder on your calendar, whatever you got to do. Between the four of us, we sold over $20 million on Amazon. So let us know what questions we can answer. And yeah, always a good time.
Oh yeah. Whatever questions y'all got, drop them in the chat. Any banter you got, right? We know Adrian will probably be dropping some game on that too, some banter as well. But yeah, good to see y'all. Can I start on Amazon if my account was banned previously? So typically, no. Where we would want to go instead of that is figuring out why your account was banned and helping you get it back. I was live streaming with Chris Grant last night. He has a really good podcast on his page all about fixing that, basically. But if you broke the rules, it's probably going to be pretty hard to get it back under your name or to get.
Don't even go there.
Well, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, because that's against the rules. But if you wrongly were deactivated, which could happen, right? Then it's taking the right steps to get it back, which is going to come down to, proving that your supply chain's clean and everything on Amazon there. Yeah, Adrian, we were just mentioning that you were going to be in here, man. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Yeah, on the suspension wave, all that kind of stuff. I did see I've seen a lot of people talking about some Section 3s going out
I did see
today,
that,
the last couple of days. If you get one of those, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just Amazon. It is true random selection. They're just making sure that you sell legit inventory. So yet another reason to not buy from, sketchy distributor on Telegram, random website that takes a month to ship from China, and they're going to make a new website, sells the same stuff next week, that kind of thing. Just stick to legit stuff. And there's also a good video on my channel. If you do get a Section 3, it'll show you how to appeal it. You didn't do anything wrong. You just got to prove that you buy real stuff.
It's funny. I had somebody comment on one of my YouTube videos yesterday saying, "Hey, can you make a video on how to buy products from Temu and Alibaba to flip on Amazon?" And I literally replied, "I'm like, no, that's illegal." Like, no, sorry.
Because it's not illegal, but you could
well, I mean,
in Amazon's eyes.
Technically, I mean, some of it.
Oh, true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
product,
if you're like misrepresenting brands, then I guess it's what up, Cassandra? Are there accounting firms that specialize in e-commerce? Yeah. So a couple of us all have interviews with Chris Potter.
Yep.
Who is a good kind of actual qualified e-com tax guy, basically. So we're not just making stuff up, but yeah, you can go watch one of those interviews. It'll be a bunch of good like fundamental information, some questions. It's good to like get the tax perspective from the small business side and not the like pay every possible cent in taxes, right? So it's like finding that good balance. So go watch that those interviews
and all the deductions,
for sure.
Just like the knowledge,
for sure.
Yeah, so I just linked that in the chat. G-Body looking like old school G-Body in that interview, low key, and everything. But yeah, the Buy Box Bandits podcast. If y'all never listened to that, we got 192. I think we're gonna start making those again too. We took a couple months off.
Yeah, I saw the calendar invite got updated. I think what was it, like Friday or Saturday or something?
Yeah, I think we should pick one day and just do like 3 to get back into it, and then just distribute them, obviously. And,
who are you guys having next on there?
We haven't figured it out yet. But we're
Jeff Bezos.
Way more unofficial than the Corey Gannon podcast.
Yeah, true.
You guys have been doing it for way longer
than the rest. Can USPS boxes be used to ship UPS? No, and anyone telling you that, I believe that's probably technically defrauding the government because it's USPS that's owned by the government, right there. But no, you can't. You can't.
Well, same thing with the USPS priority free boxes and stuff, and using it for like first class.
Yeah.
What was somebody asked if you can use Boxem for repricing? So no, you can't use Boxem for repricing. And it really just depends on where you are in your business. If you're newer, something like an Aura or a Be Cool is probably going to be a better fit. And as you get more advanced, switching to something like Seller Snap is going to be better.
Yeah, we actually have integrations as of a couple of days ago with Boxem, Aura, and Seller Snap with Aura, Be Cool, and Seller Snap at Boxem too, as well. And then y'all got to check out the Boxem analytics too, as well. We had a really good meeting too, talking about more stuff that's coming out with that. As well.
Are you when the Prime bump is here? So Prime Day is what, the first or next Monday?
Or so it's actually 4 days this year, dude. Yeah, so July 8th to the 11th. And so, yeah, so I mean, volume's already increasing, and just in general with 4th of July deals going on, products are so cheap right now because every website has a sale going on, and everything. So the mania kind of already started, honestly. But Prime Day is better for sourcing rather than selling, although it's awesome for selling too. And tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be break down all this stuff on the free back to school prep live class. So make sure you check that out. The link in the description. It's not going to be posted on YouTube or anywhere. Not going to be on TikTok live. It's only going to be available for the people that are in the live class with us. So Warner and I are going to do that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So make sure if you haven't yet been to one of those that you tap in tomorrow night. I'm going to have a ton of game for you guys.
Yeah. Prime Day sales are kicking in basically already today. There'll be a bunch more tomorrow. Already. So
it's funny because in terms of, you mean Prime Day sales of like other places to source from? Because a lot of times, at least for me specifically, the sales the day or two before Prime Day are actually a lot slower, like my Amazon revenue, because I feel like a lot of Amazon customers, they're trained to wait until Prime Day to really buy most of their stuff. So at least historically for me, the day or two leading up to Prime Day are slower. And then like tomorrow, obviously through the 11th, it's going to be, you're going to make a lot of sales.
Like a lot of the OA sites are going to do sales of their own just to kind of steal some of the traffic back, right? Because Amazon's probably going to hog a lot of the eyes. So a lot of the OA sites will
that's
have
like
some sort of.
Yeah, that's like probably the better part of Prime Day. Like,
especially
for OA sellers, it's, you know, the really good Prime Days is probably a, I don't know, 25-30% sales boost, but the real boost is everything being massively more profitable.
All the deals,
Yes, I need a refresher on KPI. Just go to my YouTube channel. I haven't posted in probably like 7 months, but like there's a lot of historical Keeper Product Finder videos that are going to be super, super, super valuable. Dig into pretty much the entire tool.
Yeah, if y'all want to see more stuff on that, pop in the free class tomorrow as well.
Yeah, true. So good question here from Henry. So Henry says, what's the best OA sites to source that provide invoices? So the first thing would be that you don't really need, or you don't need to worry about invoices at all, right? Check out the video I posted yesterday. It goes into sites you can use for ungating in 2025. And it's going to be a bunch of auto ungate ASINs too, just on Filter Miles. But when you're a beginner, don't worry about websites to source, like thinking, oh, does Target have good products? Does Home Depot have good products? Does Walmart have good products? Instead, look for products to source, right? So rather than manual sourcing, right, which would be going on random websites and looking at their clearance sections, right? Instead, focus on storefront stocking. So starting out on the Amazon side of things, right? So watch one of Warner and I's product research videos and start out storefront stocking from there, right? And then the nice thing is that all of those listings, all of those brands are pretty much going to be immediately validated as reseller friendly and opportunities you might want to take a look at right there, right? So that's going to be good for you right here. JP says, spend 10 hours and have yet to find my first OA products, seen a lot of and find these steps. Still on the look. How long did it take you guys to find your first OA product? Yeah, so JP, the key is you actually have gone over probably several, maybe even a dozen plus of your first OA products, right? Stuff that's arbitrage, stuff that you see other people making money on, and stuff that you can see sells well. You just haven't made the numbers work, right? So for example, JP, right, as your, good Uncle Flips, Uncle Corey, Uncle Warren, and Uncle Garrett, right? Let us know what brands you were taking a look at. And if we know the discounts required to make those brands good, we're happy to fill you in. So JP, let us know in the chat what brands you've been looking up, dude.
So there was somebody asked a second ago about recommendations for business bank accounts. So personally, I like to bank with local or regional banks. I just find Chase and Wells Fargo, those banks, to kind of be a pain.
That's such a Corey take.
I mean, it's true. They suck.
Take.
They suck. And also when you go to apply for like a line of credit or actual business financing, they want your business to kind of fit into the box of the type of business they typically lend to. And I mean, it's pretty obvious that like an Amazon reselling business is not like your traditional business. I bank with a bank that's regional in North Carolina. They've only got like 13 or 14 branches, but I text my loan officer. They, it's just much easier to deal with. So that's the route I would recommend you go.
Very boomer answer.
Is that where you got your mortgage through as well?
Yeah.
No, different bank.
Yeah.
And anything that stores your money generally works, though.
Yeah.
Don't overthink that part of things.
Right.
So Charlie says it's better to focus on what you're ungated versus trying ungate brands like Jockey. Not at all, man. So, I've just noticed for whatever reason, people that are worried about ungating get declined so much more than people that aren't. And I hate that it's just an energy thing like that, but it kind of is. And that's, substantiated purely by, just a little bit of data basically, right? But no, man, dude, don't see ungating as like a big obstacle, man. If other people are selling it, so can you,
For stores that you can't use tax exempt, do you calculate the sales tax as part of your unit cost of goods sold for that item?
Yes.
Yeah. So SellerAmp will take care of that. You could also just utilize a prep center in like a Delaware and like a New Hampshire and like an Oregon, and just kind of disregard sales tax altogether. Obviously, you're going to pay for the unit cost per to prep, but in turn, you're going to avoid paying sales tax, which is going to obviously scale with the buy cost of the item.
Yeah, good key right there. Is it a good idea to have a prep center in tax-free state? Yeah, tax-free state over nearby. Yeah, unless you're doing wholesale where there's no sales tax. Yep.
No real benefit to being nearby.
Yeah. And still being nine. Exactly, Charlie. So that's typically going to happen 5, 10, or like 15 times per brand. Just make sure you're submitting the order confirmation email, and you can add in other stuff there too, as well, like a shipping email, delivery email. Like Amazon really wants to see your whole supply chain, right? That the charge came through on your credit card, right? Picture of the product. A really good tip is 2 things: a picture of the shipping label that shows that the package actually came to you from Walmart, Target, wherever, right, with the retailer name, and then also highlight the title anywhere it is in the PDF you're submitting. And all of those documents I just mentioned and pictures, right, put them in one combined PDF together.
Sheila asked a good question here. He said it's hard to find good deals storefront stocking because if it's already on Amazon, the product was purchased weeks or months ago on deal. So you want products that are already on Amazon, first of all. Like, you wouldn't want to sell something that's not. And yeah, you're exactly right. On storefront stocking, you're by definition selling something that someone has already sourced before, which usually is a good thing because it is the shortcut to knowing like what products are actually good. And if you want to find stuff that like has lower seller counts, that kind of thing, use those to like inspire new ideas, right? So let's say they're selling the black color of something. Go check and see if the purple has less sellers and so on, right? But also, it doesn't matter if someone has already been selling the product for weeks or months or whatever, right? Because every good product has other sellers on it, right? That's just the nature of it. So don't get too hung up and like, somebody already beat me to it, that kind of thing. It's like, unless you're bringing something back to Amazon, you're always selling something that someone's already beat you to, basically.
Yeah. TFP says, I've always gotten gated first invoice. Okay,
nice.
That's a very good trend, and it's not going to continue, unfortunately. It's not.
Yeah, I was like, that's really rare.
Yeah.
Somebody asked, let's see, if you could only use, where was that question? Basically said, if you could only use 5 tools, what would they be in your Amazon business?
You
only need 3. 5. Yeah, I was going to say you need SellerAmp, you need Keepa, and you need like a listing tool.
Or Pricer 4.
Yeah. And even that, I mean, you could argue that you don't necessarily
always be like, screw Boxem.
No, I mean, makes it easier, but if you're talking like sole requirements,
Let's see here.
When you read that you need to test by 2 to 4 weeks of product, how do you quantify that? That's a really good question.
That's a phenomenal question. Let's do this one up on screen here first as well. Don't worry about it. Amazon doesn't actually want it. I'm sure they might say it, but like, you kind of learn that in those ungates and aisle emails, you never worry about what Amazon says, honestly. Yeah. All right, cool, sweet. All right, next one up. You need, facts. Shout out TFB right there. Facts right there. Okay, Corey, how would you answer this one here?
So I'd look at how many competitive sellers are on the listing, and really that just means an FBA seller priced within 2% of the buy box. So let's say the buy box is going for $20, and you've got 3 sellers priced right around $20, and that listing sells, let's say 1,000 units a month. Well, you take the competitive sellers, which in this case is 3, plus 1, which is you, and then divide that by the monthly sales, which if in this case that's 1,000, that means that you would sell about 250 units per month. So that would be the test order amount, right? About 30 days worth of quantity is what I usually like to test with.
Boom, boom. You guys recommend that 30% ROI covers returns at FBA only? It would be the same thing. Yeah.
About the same.
BQL seems extremely confusing. What is your recommendation of the best way? Yeah, so we actually, Warren and I both have good BQL tutorials on our channel. You should totally check out BME too. And then the big thing is kind of just like bare bones, like a minimum, a maximum, and then AI win equalizer is typically the mode that makes most sense, or that makes sense for most beginners.
Yep.
Are we coming up on, is this 3 years of Money Monday or is this two?
Two. You haven't even been on the scene for 3 years, Corey.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I was just looking at the date. I'm like, wait, you're right.
Yeah.
Feels like 3.
Let's see, TFB. How do you handle Amazon mysteriously saying you sent in more units than you actually did? Yes, that is. You asked if it's free money. That is the closest thing to free money you're going to get on Amazon.
I mean, that's something to kind of sorts itself out because you're going to send in the stuff. It's going to be too short. Some other time you're going to be 3 over.
Yeah, exactly. They gave you somebody else's units and somebody's submitting a claim to get reimbursed on those basically. And then in the future, the opposite's going to happen. You're going to submit to reimburse and somebody else got some free stuff.
Boom. Brand doesn't reply to me what to do. Yeah, so we recommend starting out with online arbitrage rather than wholesale. Wholesale is just significantly harder for beginners. You got to do cold calling, cold emailing and stuff. Meanwhile, with arbitrage, it's significantly easier to get started and everything. Yeah. More video calling for Rose too cool. Yeah, that is good content, man. Corey,
appreciate that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of good feedback on the cold call stuff.
Yeah, I want to do more of those for sure. I enjoy them, and I feel like they get good feedback.
I like the narration beforehand. Corey's like, oh, these dudes
We're all mute them. Yeah, I'll like put them on mute. I'm like, oh, this guy's an idiot.
He's like, this dude's a moron. Hey, how's it going? My name's Corey.
I like to imagine that somebody, like one of the suppliers, found the video.
That's the funny thing is like they will never find it. Like I'd be shocked if they were.
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, if they know your name, if they just Google your name, they can go down a whole rabbit hole.
They can find.
Yeah, they could. Yeah,
just
they
absolutely
could.
Demolishing.
Most of them. But the thing is like
the Andy Elliott sales training videos.
That guy's a menace. God, that guy's crazy. If you were starting over today with $1,000, what would your first 30 days look like? So, I mean, I'm gonna take y'all's side here, and if you're really brand new and you've only got $1,000, I'd start with arbitrage, and probably not even with online arbitrage, probably more with retail arbitrage. I'd go into, well, first of all, I'd get Keepa and SellerAmp, really just those 2 tools, and then I'd go into your local Target or Walmart and just use the Amazon Seller app and start scanning any products on clearance, find products that one, you're ungated in, and 2, are profitable. And yes, even if you're brand new, there's going to be a lot of products that fit those criteria, and start with those and list them FBM, make a couple of quick sales, go back into the store, grab a few more units, and snowball that $1,000 into $3,000 and then $5,000, etc., and then keep scaling that up.
Yeah, you want to be living at Ross.
Primary focus there should be just doubling that as soon as possible, turning 1 into 2. Right. Yep. And to Corey's point, FBM or RA to FBM is going to be the fastest way to make $1 on Amazon. And then alternatively, don't ignore used items, right? Your thrift stores, garage sales, books, all those sorts of things have high ROI. Obviously, the used stuff is probably not going to go to Amazon, but Facebook, right? eBay, Poshmark, all those sorts of things. Get creative, right? Turning that 1,000 into 2, you solve for a lot of skills, and then you can continue to iterate on those skills.
What is
and then, hey, once you get up to 4, you just put it all in black, then you get 8, and then
and then you do the same thing, and you get 16, and
the entire goal.
Guys, tap in. Yeah, the free live class tomorrow, back to school strats right there. A ton of game we don't train else for free too. What is FC transfer and why does it happen? Yeah, so MADMU docket stands for fulfillment center transfer, and it's basically when Amazon's moving your inventory between fulfillment centers, which is totally normal and not something you did anything wrong with, honestly.
If you have a product that's asked for 42 units, but the packs are 12s, can I still send in Amazon with the 48 count?
Probably. The customers won't be unhappy. The only thing that can happen is Amazon, if they check it and see that it's heavier than the actual item that the weight is, because it's going to be 6 units heavier, then they can fee adjust you and charge you for the fees that you owed them basically on weight.
Yeah. I mean, the bigger thing to be concerned about is if you have to validate that inventory anywhere, it's probably going to be more of a headache. Terms of like an authenticity, supply chain verification, something like that. They're going to see a receipt for a 48 count and you're selling a 42 count, and they're probably not going to put those 2 and 2 together. But that would be the only thing.
That's a good point. That is really the main consideration. But what I usually like to ask myself, like that aside, is if I send this into is a customer going to be upset if they receive this product versus what they thought they ordered? And if the answer is no, then sometimes it can be worth it.
I feel like the invoicing side would be fine though, because you sell a lot of 3-packs. You buy 1 at a time. It doesn't have to say it's a 3-pack on the invoice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that I think would totally.
Yeah, I think the invoicing would be fine. It's just like fees and making sure people are happy.
Yep, right there. Thank you for all the videos and guidance.
Holy.
Amazon's getting more and more.
Jared. You're doing good work, man. Keep up the good work, and let us know how we can help. As
George's his signature of approval. Amazon always getting more and more.
Barking at anything.
What?
He's like barking at the wall.
Amazon's getting more and more strict. Would you guys still buy from wholesalers or just the brand and their author? So that's a really, really good question, right? And I think Corey would agree. In 2025, the best way that we can advocate doing wholesale is directly from the brand or as close to the brand as possible, right? So what does that actually mean? What we would say is reach out to the brand, put primary focus, mission goal, mission critical is going to that brand to get in the account. And if that doesn't work, just simply ask them for referrals for their authorized distributors, right? That's going to be typically one tier below the brand, typically some pretty decent pricing compared to the brand. You can validate exactly that where that inventory is coming from. And most often is the case, you can get supply chain verification going up to the brand if need be, because there was a referral from the brand, right? It gets a little convoluted and people get themselves into trouble and just create extra headaches. When you're buying from random company X from Google, you don't know where they're getting their inventory from. You don't know if it's completely authentic, and Amazon's never heard of the company before, right? So the goal should be the brand, if not as close to that brand as possible with a direct linkage to the brand.
Yeah, completely agree with that.
So awesome question here from Saima says, how can we use a reseller certificate for OA and RA? So for OA, only a minority of websites will accept it, but websites like Walmart, Target, and Lowe's, if you just Google Walmart tax exempt, you'll see the first option on Google has it. And then other websites, you can always ask, hey, to the customer service, hey, is there any way I can purchase these products with tax exempt? I'm a reseller, right? Or I'm a business. And sometimes they'll say yes. The nice thing is that, you can find people in the community to work with. That's what we all did a couple years ago. It made things way easier, and we would get, a lot of that knowledge distributed pretty easily right there, just off of, working with other sellers, or you can just obviously do all the trial and error yourself. And then for retail arbitrage, honestly, it works a lot more places. Just bring that documentation with you so you always have it, and see if sites or stores and sites for that matter will take it right there.
And to finish the previous point, right? The other thing with going directly from the brand with wholesale is, just as reverse sourcing is for OA, brand direct wholesale is way easier to qualify, and it ends up being more efficient, right? Because you can come up with a list of 10 products, map them back directly to the brand, and reach out to the brand and say, hey, I need 100 products or 100 units, 200, 1,000 units around this price point. How can we make that happen? As opposed to starting with Google and saying, hey, I want grocery distributors, come up with a list of 50, and you don't really have a sense of, in terms of the pricing, the brands, the products that those distributors have. And again, it's just like way easier to map direct products explicitly back to those particular brands. And even still, right, if a brand puts you onto one of their distribution companies, you know that company is going to have the product that was the initial motivator for the whole chain of events.
Do we need the reseller certificate if we have preps in our sales tax free state? Nope. Outside of just questions where you would, products where you would ship to yourself and self prep. Thanks, Garrett. Not forgetting about you. That's love. That's love. Yeah. So Target doesn't accept reseller cert. Yeah, you're right on that. TFB.
LOL. You need to send like every other message you think about sending.
Yeah.
Like maybe every other one.
Every other.
Yeah. Every other message is good.
Any products or categories you guys avoid entirely, even if the numbers look good. The only thing would be like if the numbers look good, but they're like standard ROI and it's a product that gets returned like a ton, or if it's just like insanely inconvenient to ship, or just the goal of eventually being overwhelmed with leads and having like a lot of choice around purely buying like the ones that are most convenient for you to ship or anything, honestly. But other than that, not really.
Yeah. Well, also any products where maybe there's an IP risk. So when you're looking at that new offer count, because we looked at one, I think last week on Money Monday, where a guy put a lead in the chat and we were analyzing it. And I told him, I'm like, this product looks really good. But then when we looked at the new offer count, there was a period like 6 months ago where the offer count goes from like 14 sellers down to 2 sellers, just dips. And so I told him, I'm like, because of that one data point right there, even though this product looks good and profitable and high volume, I wouldn't buy it. And I think he understood and appreciated that feedback. But that's really the main thing that I would think of aside from what you already said.
Yeah, lots
Yeah,
of
we-
shit
we
are
were-
saying we don't work with online sellers. Yeah, that's why we do online arbitrage. And so, you know, you never really deal with that, right? If you're doing wholesale right from the get-go, you're going to probably get discouraged pretty quick, unfortunately.
Ryan's trolling. He said, "What color printer should I get?" I know he's
Rolla.
smarter than
What up,
that.
Ryan?
W Rolla right there. Yeah. Cool. All right. Sweet. Thanks everyone for tuning in for another Money Monday. Make sure you follow all these guys on socials. And I posted a really good video breaking down websites you can use to get ungating and just a bunch of good ungating frequently asked questions yesterday too, which you guys should all check out as well. And then tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern, Warner and I are hosting a 100% free back to school live class. It's not going to be on YouTube. The only way to get access is using the link in the description right there. So we'll be breaking down a ton of sauce we don't share and it was free. All the steps you need to get going. We'll be there with you answering your questions live too as well. And you get a ton of exclusive content there, all for no cost. So make sure y'all tap in for the free class tomorrow night. And y'all have a great day. Thanks for the love too on the way out, family.
See you guys.
We appreciate you, family. Y'all be great.
Appreciate
Y'all
you
be
guys.
great. See y'all later. See y'all
See you
later.
back next week.